What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful, delicious, smoky, grilled, magnificent grilled seafood tower. Coming up! One request I get on this channel more often than not is to cook some more seafood. And hailing from the Northeast, I am a big fan of seafood. But because this is a barbecue channel, options of seafood on the offset smoker are pretty limited. But grilling, on the other hand, is an awesome way to get some great flavor on some sea bugs. Something about a crustacean with a kiss of flame and smoke on it is just absolutely fantastic. So that being said, today we're making a grilled seafood tower, and it is going to be delicious. These are some crab legs. Some colossal king crab legs. I'm pretty excited. These look fantastic. But we're not just cooking crab legs today, folks. We also got some oysters, some big old shrimp, some scallops, and some lobster tails. And I don't know about you, but to me, this is truly a sight of beauty. And I know it's gonna be a wonderful day. But I am most excited about these beautiful colossal king crab legs. They're just so big. Like, look at the size of this thing. And again, I got these from the sponsor of today's video, Alaskan King Crab Co. Alaskan King Crab Co. are king crab experts and enthusiasts who offer a hand-picked line of fish and shellfish that specialize in delivering quality, fresh seafood right to your door. Everything they ship is wild caught and preserved with only all-natural methods, which is ideal for freshness and the highest quality. Everything is bigger in Texas, and Alaskan King Crab Co. follows suit. I mean, just look at the size of this giant king crab leg. And it's not just their crab legs. Their halibut slabs are really big as well, and they really focus on giving you these really big show-stopping pieces that are perfect for parties or get-togethers. And I gotta admit, when I unbagged all these, there was this giant knuckle piece that looked like this, but much bigger, that is no longer on that tray because I had to dive in. I could not help myself. And I can confirm that it is the best crab I have ever had. It was super fresh, super flavorful, and you can really tell that they know what they're doing when it comes to quality and delivering the freshest possible seafood to your door. And I know ordering seafood online can seem like a bit of a daunting task, but at Alaskan King Crab Co., they offer free overnight shipping Monday through Thursday for orders over $300. And any order you place after 3 o'clock on Thursday, you can expect at your door on Monday. So if you're looking to treat yourself or be the hero at your next party or gathering, you can head to AlaskanKingCrab.com, where you can use code ChudsBBQ to get 10% off your order. Again, that's AlaskanKingCrab.com. I'll have a link in the description of this video where you can use code ChudsBBQ to get 10% off your order. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Alaskan King Crab Co. Now, before we start breaking down all the seafood and getting it ready for the grill, we need to bust out a couple of compound butters, because as we all know, seafood and butter are a match made in heaven. Starting with a classic garlic herb compound butter. So in we go with 2 sticks of unsalted softened butter, to which we're gonna go in with some of our microplaned garlic, some lemon juice, some fresh thyme, rosemary, pinch of salt, some freshly cracked black pepper, some finely chopped shallot, and a pinch of our freshly chopped parsley. And just get that all nice and mixed up. Beautiful. Be sure to taste that for seasoning, and our garlic herb lemony compound butter is done. Next up is gonna be an Old Bay compound butter. So into our little spice grinder here, we're gonna go in with some bay leaves, a couple of cloves, some celery seed, and some red chili flakes. And just get those all nice and powdered up. Next up, we're going in with some kosher salt, some paprika, some black pepper, granulated mustard, and some warming spices. This is some nutmeg and some mace and some cardamom. And get it all mixed up. And our homemade Old Bay is done. And to turn that into a compound butter, again, we're going in with 2 sticks of unsalted butter, a nice hefty tablespoon or so of some of our lemon juice, some of our minced garlic, and of course, our homemade Old Bay. And just get it all nice and mixed up. Beautiful. And for our third and final compound butter, I'm gonna make a hollandaise flavored compound butter using some of these. Some cured egg yolks, which I started making earlier this week. Making cured egg yolks is super easy. Into a large wide vessel of your choosing, we're gonna go in with 2 cups of kosher salt and 1 cup of granulated sugar. And just get that all nice and mixed up. And then reserve about half of it. Next up, our eggs. Using one of our eggs, we're gonna go around and create some little dimples for these yolks to sit in. Beautiful. And then being nice and gentle, we're gonna just pull out some of these beautiful looking yolks and into the little dimple we just created. Boop, boop, boop. Ooh. Love it. And if you wanted to, you could also add whatever you want to the cure, you know, some peppercorns, herbs, garlic, that sort of thing. But we're keeping it traditional today. And now with the rest of our cure, we're gonna just bury these little guys. Basically what's gonna happen is these are gonna lose all their moisture, get kind of gummy, and make for a great little topping on pretty much anything. Salads, steaks. It comes out very similar to like a Parmesan cheese, you know, something you can grate. Looking good. Into the fridge these go for the next few days. 4 days later. Let's see how these egg yolks came out, shall we? Ooh, that salt definitely absorbed a lot of moisture. Just gonna try and dig these out, being as gentle as possible. And there we go, beautiful cured egg yolk. Looking nice, feeling nice and firm. And now all we need to do is rinse these off. So pop these into a bowl of some nice cold water. And we're just gonna agitate these a little bit until all the salt and sugar comes off. Oh, they're so beautiful. And once all the salt and sugar is dissolved and rinsed away, onto this wire rack they go into my oven at 140 degrees for the next 2 hours to dehydrate and firm up even further. And as you can see, after a nice dehydration, these things are looking awesome. They're like little rubies or something, nice and hard, but still have a little bit of squish to them. These came out perfectly, nice and shiny. And if you've never made these before, you definitely have to give it a try because they are good on pretty much everything. About to make our butter, yet again, going in with some unsalted butter, a healthy splash of some of our lemon juice, some freshly chopped tarragon, and then we're gonna microplane in some of these beautiful egg yolks. Oh, just look at it fall. Grates just like Parmesan cheese. Great on steaks, by the way. Actually, this compound butter would be great on steaks. Maybe we'll have to try that later on. I went with 2 yolks today. We'll see how it tastes after we get this all nice and mixed up. Looking beautiful. And just like that, all 3 of our compound butters are done. And at this point, you could pop them into a butter mold or into some cling wrap, let them solidify. That way you can slice them like a regular stick of butter, let them melt on a steak. You could melt these down and have some great little dipping sauces, or you could leave it just like this where it's still at room spreadable temperature. And one last final thing to prep is a mignonette, which is super easy. We go in with some diced shallots, followed by some unseasoned rice vinegar, some red wine vinegar, some freshly cracked ground white pepper, pinch of salt, and a little bit of sugar. And that's it. Our classic little oyster sauce is done. And now it is time to prep our seafood. Starting with these beautiful crab legs. First thing I'm gonna do is break these apart right at the joints. Ooh, nugget for Papa. So good. Yoink. Next up, I'm gonna take some of these shears that Alaskan King Crab Co sent me. Very friendly, thank you. And I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna cut these open, leaving us with a beautiful canoe of some lovely crab meat. That shell is gonna stay just like this and act like a little foil boat that's gonna protect our meat while it cooks. And we're just gonna do that to all of these. What a beautiful sight, folks. Just look at the size of that chunk of crab. Ah, love it. And there we go, folks. Some beautiful little king crab canoes and all these other little joints and bits and pieces. I'm probably gonna just keep for snacking on. Just look at that meat. It is unbelievably good. The texture, the flavor. Ah, and yeah, this is all fully cooked already, so. Oh my God, it is so good. Next up, let's tackle these lobster tails, shall we? For these guys, we're gonna just split them in half right down the middle. So with our kitchen shears here, just going through, and then with a heavy-esque knife, we're gonna just give it the old choppa. Nothing to it. Liking these scissors. I'll tell you what, the little curvature of them, very nice. Let's clean up these shrimp a little bit. Again, these are fully shelled shrimp. I was gonna get the ones that are head on and all, but we didn't have any of those today. But having the shell on there is real nice for grilling because it adds some more flavor, protects the shrimp from burning up too much. But we're just gonna slice open the back and remove the old poop chute. Nothing to it. And lastly, we need to shuck some of these oysters. And to do that is super easy. Just get yourself one of these handy dandy little oyster knives. Go right in the back here. Give it a little wiggle, and it should pop right open. Scrape the top clean, leave all that nice oyster liquor in there, and you got a beautiful oyster. Although I tell you what, guys, I'm really glad that I'm not a seafood channel, because this is the worst day of flies that I have ever encountered out here. It is so irritating. One other thing I'm gonna do is go through and scoop underneath this guy so it is free moving. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier to eat once they're cooked. Oh, looking beautiful. And yeah, I did double up on oysters. Let's fire up the pit. Throwing on some mesquite logs today. Because we're cooking on the mini Chud box Santa Maria style today, meaning we're gonna keep the lid open the whole time. We got a really nice coal bed in there. We got a couple mesquite logs that are catching right now, which should give us some really nice smoke flavor and a nice hot coal bed to really grill these off nice and quickly. But because we're not gonna shut the lid, nothing's gonna get over smoked. And normally I don't throw wood on my mini Chud box. It really is a charcoal cooker. And that's just because it's not designed airflow wise for logs to really burn cleanly. And you can over smoke things real quick. But anywho, while we wait for those logs to catch, let's go ahead and get everything seasoned up. Starting with our shrimp. Going in with some olive oil, some red chili flakes, some of our freshly chopped parsley, some freshly chopped garlic, some lemon juice, pinch of salt, and some freshly cracked black pepper. And we're just gonna get that all nice and mixed up. Beautiful. Next up, our scallops. We're gonna be real simple with these. Just a very light amount of salt. These are pretty salty to begin with. And some fresh cracked pepper, just for good measure. Looking good to me. Well, maybe a little more pepper. Next up, we're gonna butter up these lobster tails, because what doesn't sound good about that? So using some of our hollandaise butter, we're just gonna go ahead and smear some of this all over all of these guys. Because why not? Ah, what a beautiful sight. And with some of our garlic herb butter, we're gonna do the same thing. Just a nice little spread on some of these beautiful colossal king crab legs. Most of this butter is gonna melt immediately, but it's gonna fill up inside of the little shell canoe we've got going on. And it's just gonna add some wonderful flavor. And also a lot of this butter is going to leak out, so it may seem like an absurd amount of butter, but we're really not gonna get all that much on it at the end. But that's why we got more for dipping. And as for our oysters, ooh, we're gonna go around with a little dollop of each of our butters. So it'll be a little surprise whichever one we get. Loving the colors of these, tell you what. Beautiful. And I'm also gonna mix these with a mixture of Romano and Parmesan, because why not? Beautiful. All right, folks, we got a beautiful fire built up in here. This thing is nice and toasty. It's time to throw on our seafood. What a beautiful spread. Starting out with our shrimp. Oh my goodness, this smells so good already. Nothing wrong with that, folks. Followed by our scallops. Ooh, this is a toasty fire. Next up goes our lobster tails. I hope this all fits. It'll fit. And then our beautiful king crab legs. Oh, what a sight to behold. And we're just gonna let these cook away for the next little bit because our oysters do not need long to cook. That's about a 4-minute cook, so we can throw those on after some of this stuff comes off. There's just some sights in life that make me so happy. Oh, doesn't take long, folks. After just a few minutes, everything is starting to bubble up and look real nice. Got some beautiful color on these shells here. So I'm gonna go through and flip these over, get a nice little sear on them. Same for all the shrimp. Get some nice color on these scallops too. Look at that, beautiful. We're about 3-4 minutes into this cook. Everything is flipped over now. We're gonna get a little kiss of flame on the meat side of the crab and the lobsters. And this stuff should be done in the next minute or so. Oh yeah. Oh, looking beautiful. These are coming off. Just trying to heat things through and get some good flavor on there. Ooh. And general rule of thumb is around 140 is what you're aiming for if you're keeping track on most seafood. Whew, this fire is hot. But again, most of this stuff can be eaten raw, so you really don't have to stress too much about it. Must say, these shrimp are looking lovely. I love shrimp. And as soon as all that stuff comes off, on we go with our beautiful oysters. Oh, yeah. We're also gonna grill off a few lemons for good measure. Just let these cook for about 4 or 5 minutes. And just like that, about 5 minutes later, these are looking beautiful. All that butter is melted. You can see them bubbling away. Oh, what a lovely sight. So, off they come. Highly recommend a wire rack for this stuff. It really helps stabilize the awkward shape of these oyster shells. I am loving the color of these. You can really tell which butter is in each. Pretty cool. You gotta love it when something cooks in its own shell. It's like the whole hog of the ocean. Oh goodness. And of course, these lemons are looking beautiful. And just like that, all of our beautiful seafood is nicely grilled off and just looking so appetizing. I mean, come on, folks. What doesn't look good about this spread? Am I right? Come on. But just to finish things off right, we're gonna take some of our hollandaise butter and paint a little extra on these lobster tails here. Take some of our herb butter, paint that onto our colossal king crab legs. You know, we gotta make up for any butter that we may have lost, you know. You gotta play it safe. And then with some of this Old Bay butter, we'll just brush this or kind of drizzle it all over these scallops. That sounds like a good idea. Love it. And without further ado, I think it's time to assemble our tower. I gotta say, folks, I'm pretty proud of this one. This is quite the sight, quite the feast. And it all looks so good. Oh, we got 3 of our melted butters on top here. We got a mignonette, we got some cocktail sauce, we got some horseradish, some saltines, because it's classic. Oh, I gotta dive in. I mean, where do you even start with a spread like this, folks? I know what I'm looking at. This oyster right here, still full of butter, nice and juicy. Wow, that was definitely a garlic herb butter. Very tasty stuff. Well, while we're at it, let's try the old bay. Ooh, like the celery seep. I think I might like that one better. And last but not least, we'll go for our little hollandaise guy. This one's overflowing a little bit. We'll scrape it down with a cracker here. Wow, that's awesome. Man, it's incredible flavor. Ooh, a scallop caught my eye. Don't mind if I do. Wow, that is perfectly cooked. Not bouncy, not chewy. Got some good grill flavor on there though. That mesquite really came through, but again, not overpowering. That is phenomenal. Shall we try a little lobster tail? I'm just being gluttonous over here. You got yourself a little lobster nugget. We also got all these dippers up here. A little butter. Don't mind if I do. Oh, whoa. That hollandaise butter is much more rich once it's melted down. Boop, boop, boop. Ooh, quick oyster. Okay, get it all nice and mixed up. Oh, it's so good. So good. Definitely doing these scallops again. It's phenomenal. So quick, so easy. But without further ado, let's dive into one of these big daddies, shall we? The real star of the show, the old king crab leg. Oh, look at the size of that chunk of crab meat. Grilled on this side, nicely butter poached on the other. I gotta do it. If only I had someone to share this massive seafood feast with. All right, Frankie, Evan, what did you think about the grilled seafood tower?
Good.
I guess she likes the crackers. Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. Obviously, the cooked oysters really hit the spot. You put that little bit of grill flavor on any of the seafood and it just tastes so good. And it doesn't need much. A little bit of butter, a little bit of lemon.
Getting that nice, hot, fast, light little kiss is really all you need.
We did a number on here, but there's still some left. I feel like I can just go for like one more of these little scallops.
The scallops are good. They're just so juicy.
Buttery. It's like the richest thing that grows in the sea. Okay, more crackers. What was your favorite thing?
Seafood.
The seafood.
I agree.
It's a tie between the crab and the oysters, honestly.
I do love a good oyster.
The Gulf oysters, when they're cooked with the butter, it's just too good. Crab I haven't had in a long time.
The crab doesn't come around too often.
Fat and full of seafood.
I gotta say, folks, I'm not really sure why a grilled seafood tower is not more of a thing. It really is something special. With all that char flavor on that seafood, even without all the fancy butters, it really is super tasty. And I highly recommend giving it a try soon. It's perfect for any party, and everyone is gonna be excited if you show up with a grilled seafood tower. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. Feel free to drop a comment down below letting me know what you want to see me cook next. If you give this a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.